Hello, this is Colette Murray presenting an internal and external analysis report on CenturyLink. This presentation was co-authored with Cynthia Cundiff for our WSU Management Topics 590 course. We want to share a brief history of CenturyLink, as it's always interesting to see where a thriving business started their humble beginnings. In 1930, Clark Williams and Marie Williams purchased the Oak Ridge Telephone Company for $500 from F.E. Hogan Sr. There were 75 paid subscribers. The switchboard was relocated to the Williams front parlor so the family could man the board 24 hours a day. The exception was between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Sundays, when the office closed for church and dinner. Marie wrote out the bills by hand, and 8-year-old son Clark McRae Williams delivered them on his bicycle. Now jump forward 87 years, and CenturyLink, New York Stock Exchange symbol CTL, is a global communications and IT services company focused on connecting its customers to the power of the digital world. CenturyLink offers network and data systems management, big data analytics, managed security services, hosting, cloud, and IT consulting services. The company provides broadband, voice, video, advanced data, and managed network services over a robust 265,000 route-mile U.S. fiber network and a 360,000 route-mile international transport network. Now we will take a look at the external environmental aspects, starting with global. Developing nations are benefiting from rapidly increasing access to technology and communications services. Hunger and demand is simultaneously increasing rapidly in developed nations. These combined create an increase in demand and competition for communication and network services globally. Additionally, CenturyLink has now expanded its reach in the Asia-Pacific region to address growing customer demand by expanding the company's public cloud and partnering with a data service center provider within 5 Australian markets. CenturyLink continues to invest in meeting the increased demands of their customers, including exploring new green technologies and expansion options in the new and existing data center markets. And CenturyLink won the 2017 Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Global Service Provider of the Year award. CenturyLink is a global company working within the constraints of economic uncertainty both domestically and internationally. Numerous events have either unfolded or will continue to further unravel themselves, leaving people questioning the economic conditions of the world around them. As you've probably heard, the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union at the end of 2016, and before the U.S. presidential election of November 4th, CenturyLink announced that it would sell one of its key data centers, which, under the presidency of Donald Trump, has been sold. It is economic uncertainties such as presidential elections in countries making monumental changes, which have had a great impact on the telecom industry. CenturyLink thinks that by merging with Level 3, they can combat some of these uncertainties. Why have regulations in general? The logic of competition law in the United States is that efficiency, allocative, productive, and dynamic, is the desired outcome of antitrust policy, and competition is the means of achieving it. These regulations are vast in the telecommunications industry. As of this presentation, CenturyLink is awaiting several regulatory approvals for the pending acquisition of Level 3 Communications Incorporated. This includes an antitrust act and approvals from the Federal Communications Commission and certain state regulatory authorities, as described in CenturyLink's 2016 Form 10-K SEC filing. There's not much that CenturyLink can do that does not require approvals and regulations. It's just a bunch of red tape. CenturyLink competes in a technical industry where network speed, reliability, and security drive technological advances. Glenn F. Post III, CEO and President, stated in CenturyLink's 2016 letter to shareholders, "As the digital world continues to expand, the potential of our network to deliver value and opportunity to our stakeholders expands as well." In March of 2015, the CenturyLink Technology Center of Excellence opened in Monroe, Louisiana. The center includes a technology research and development lab, a network operations center, and collaborative office and meeting space. In the center, employees with network, cloud, information technology, and other skills will work together to create innovative products and services for CenturyLink's customers. CenturyLink is adamant about state-of-the-art technology. Societies across the globe increasingly place high value on ease of communication and information sharing in the digital world. Demand for internet and telecommunications services has amplified drastically over the past decade. CenturyLink appeals to the multitude since they have the largest span of fiber optic cable in the U.S. compared to every other competitor. This allows them to serve 37 states throughout the U.S. Due to their acquisitions of other companies in recent years, it allows them to provide internet services, digital television, and wireless services. Their acquisition of Quest Communications in 2011 doubled the number of network access points. This allows customers to have many options when choosing CenturyLink. This is an advantage because they have acquired companies that have allowed them to expand their horizon, and the pending merger of Level 3 will provide even further opportunities. We will look at physical in terms of CenturyLink's physical presence. As urban population density increases and green space shrinks, the environmental impact of power generation, cellular towers, and precious minerals required for technology manufacturing increase exponentially. As this is a concern for CenturyLink, they are actively making choices to lessen the impact on the environment while offering customers solutions that enable them to do the same. CenturyLink's goal is to help ensure the long-term health of the environment, joining with customers and businesses who are focusing on ways to promote and practice the intelligent use of resources. They may be a large corporation, but they wish to leave a little footprint. Now we'll take a look at Porter's 5 forces analysis. It is a framework for analyzing the level of competition within an industry and business strategy development. It draws upon industrial organization economics to derive 5 forces that determine the competitive intensity and therefore the attractiveness of an industry. Attractiveness in this context refers to the overall industry profitability. An unattractive industry is one in which the combination of these 5 forces acts to drive down overall profitability. A very attractive industry would be one approaching pure competition, in which available profits for all firms are driven to normal profit. This analysis is associated with its principal innovator, Michael E. Porter of Harvard University. First, it might look like telecom equipment suppliers have considerable bargaining power over telecom operators. Indeed, with high-tech broadband switching equipment, fiber optic cables, mobile handsets, and billing software, telecom operators would not be able to do the job of transmitting voice and data from place to place. But there are actually a number of large equipment makers around. There are enough vendors, arguably, to dilute bargaining power. The limited pool of talented managers and engineers, especially those well-versed in the latest technology, places companies in a weak position in terms of hiring and salaries. CenturyLink's vendors, such as fiber optic cable companies, infrastructure companies, and software companies, to name a few, are readily available. Business is awarded to suppliers through a competitive sourcing process and is focused on the best value. Value is determined by low cost, quality, and technology. There are enough vendors to dilute the bargaining power. The concept of buyer power, which Porter created, has had a lasting effect in market theory. The bargaining power of CenturyLink's customers, which are referenced as buyers, is increasing due to the number of telecommunications products available in the market with little differentiation. A strong buyer can make an industry more competitive and decrease profit potential for the seller. More and more customers are price sensitive and well educated. These customers know they have bargaining power. These buyers include residential, business, government, and wholesale. The switching costs for residential customers are relatively low. However, the switching costs for businesses are high. With this, CenturyLink sees more residential customers switch than business customers. Now we'll take a look at Porter's intensity of rivalry. This rivalry affects the competitive environment and influences the ability of existing firms to achieve profitability. High intensity of rivalry means competitors are aggressively targeting each other's markets and aggressively pricing products. In the telecommunications industry, rivalry is very high amongst competitors. Some might even say that it is cutthroat. New technology is creating substitute services, and the telecommunications market is near capacity. Nearly everyone has phone service, so the lure is to lower cost and come up with new services. This tends to drive profitability down. CenturyLink is no exception. They have rival competitors such as AT&T, Verizon, and Frontier Communications. With these competitors offering the same technology, price is a major factor. Porter's threat of substitution definition is the availability of a product that the customer can purchase instead of the industry's product. We see this in the pharmaceutical industry all the time with generic drugs. While the telecom industry is no different, there are several substitute products for cable TV, including satellite dishes, antennas, and the internet, which offer streaming, voice, and data. Some of these substitutes are of equal quality or better. The availability of substitute products hurt CenturyLink's ability to raise prices because customers can easily switch to another product or service through another provider. I know I watch Netflix more than I watch cable TV, which is, in my opinion, a better substitute product. Let's take a look at the threat of new entrants. In the telecommunications business, fixed costs are very high. If the entrant has access to funding, the FCC will issue a telecommunication license. Most market entrants limit their offerings to business and start by leasing fiber from existing providers. With this said, this sector has high barriers to entry, making the new entrant threat very low. This is a good thing for CenturyLink, as there are already plenty of competitors competing for the same market shares. This is the last force in Porter's 5-force analysis. As you can see, these 5 forces all affect profitability. The higher the force, the lower the profitability. The telecom industry has high operating costs, and this to the 5 forces analysis. Add this to the 5-force analysis, and we see that profitability is lower in this industry than others. CenturyLink's business-level strategy is broad-focused and differentiated. CenturyLink focuses primarily on residential and business segments. The strategy for the business segment is focused on customer intimacy, relationships, and service differentiations. CenturyLink is trying to separate themselves from the competition with specialized services, IT strategy and consulting services, managed services, and analytics. For 2016, the business segment had revenues of $4.4 billion with 43% margins, and the residential segment had revenues of $3.3 billion with 57% margins. CenturyLink operates 58 data centers throughout the world, giving them an advantage in the business segment by providing a robust infrastructure for increased reliability and security for business customers like those in financial services. These resources and capabilities provide CenturyLink the technology and partnerships needed to grow their business segment market share. Customers can get internet, voice, and TV services from many providers, but CenturyLink differentiates by providing business services and consulting that intends to separate them from the vast pool of competitors. This is the end of the first section of this presentation. The second section will be in another video. Thank you.